Oh, my God. I can't wait to hear him. In fact, he'll be there tonight from Ramblewood. That's right. Oh, yeah. It is the one, the only, Ron Jaworski. Yes, that's right. The Pope of Philadelphia football, the great Jaws. What's going on, Jaws?
Anthony, absolutely awesome to be with you, talking some real live NFL football beginning tomorrow night, and, of course, the Eagles opener in Washington on Sunday. Man, it's been bizarre.
Yes.
It's been crazy. No one knows what's going to happen. It's the unknown that I think has gotten everyone excited, how this will play out. But I'm just happy we can talk some football.
I know. It feels weird. Is your body, of all people, I think about you and the body clock, because the body tells you it's the end of the preseason, it's week 1, but the mind has been completely altered this whole weird summer and weird preseason. Does it feel like it? Is it strange to you?
Yeah, it is strange. Quite honest, it's a time of year I really get pumped up, and I am, but I really don't sense that the fan base, or not only in Philadelphia but around the NFL, is quite ready for this. I think we're trying to convince ourselves we're ready for football. We want football, and God, we all know we need football.
Yeah.
Get our minds off of some of the craziness in this world that we now live in. But it's different. And I think what we're going to see tomorrow night and what we're going to see over the weekend is going to be different. I've spent this week, talking to coaches around the league and texting with them. In fact, I just hung up with Dick Vermeil, the guy that I have incredible respect for, giving me a pulse of the NFL and how coaches think. And no one seems to know how this is going to play out. It's the unknown that is intriguing right now. So I think that's what makes it very interesting. I did a draft last night for one of my fantasy leagues. It's like,
right.
I just don't know. I'm picking this guy going saying, well, who's going to throw him the ball? Is this quarterback?
I know.
We haven't seen anything, we hear these things, Cam Newton, he looks great up in New England. Well, come on, we know the media can fabricate a lot of things, and I'm not saying he's not, but, I haven't seen him in a game. I got my computer, my tape all ready to go. I can't look at it because I have to look at last year. So it's just the unknown is what makes everything very intriguing. The unknown about this Eagle football team. Hey, we're all positive. That's how we're wired. We all think it's going to be a really great season. We want to think optimistically, but there are a lot of questions with this team, and they'll begin to be answered on Sunday in Washington.
Well, first is the O-line, and I mean, how do you look at it? I mean, when you're looking at we always, I know how much you love Carson. We love Carson, and this offensive line. What's this line going to look like?
Yeah, and again, I'm optimistic that things are going to be good. But we didn't know Jason Peters was going to play left tackle till yesterday. Is going to be Pryor at right guard. The interchangeable pieces of this offensive line, and we all know how he likes to build his football team, and he's very successful with his approach. But he loves to win down in the trenches, offensive and defensive line. For the first time going into a season, I think there are some questions about this offensive line. The age and the health of some players. The Brandon Brooks loss is significant. It's a huge loss. He may have been the Eagles' best player over the last couple of years. And, hey, I'm not taking it from what some grading system says or what people say about him. I look at the tape. Brandon Brooks is a beast, is a dominant player.
Yeah.
You lose that kind of player, the trickle-down effect, can be very, very serious. All of a sudden, Jason Kelce, who's, entering his 10th, 11th season right now, it's like, okay, The Rock is not next to me. Who's it going to be? Oh, I got to adjust to this guy. Lane Johnson looks to his left. It's not Brandon Brooks. There's an adjustment that has to be made. The unspoken language of offensive linemen is what makes them great. They don't make calls. They feel it. They sense it. Mm-hmm. They know how to handle all the slants and stunts and twists and games played up front. Those are the things we don't know how this group will handle it. And, of course, with Jason, how much is left in the tank? He's up in years. So those questions will start to be answered on Sunday against, by the way, the best defensive line in football might be down in Washington. It just might be before this is all played out. They have 4 first-round picks on the defensive line. 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a strong group up front. So this offensive line will be tested significantly on Sunday.
Do you think, we talk about going down the field a lot and that they're excited about being able to really kind of stretch it a little bit. You're going to have to max protect some because knowing the shape of that line, and you're going to hope that Deshaun, with Rager being, doubtful probably for this week, but you got to hope Deshaun can actually, give you a season and not be in and out of the lineup. How do you like the passing game?
No one questions Deshaun Jackson's talent on the football field. No one. He's got blazing speed even now. I've spoken to people that have been in practice on a daily basis, spoken to coaches. It's Deshaun Jackson. He can flat out fly. But you got to put the question mark there. Can he stay healthy? And that's the big question. Rager's going to be out a little bit. Alshon Jeffrey's going to be out a little bit. So who are the guys going to step up? I'm hearing good things about John Hightower. He has shown some good things. Is he ready to step in and give him some snaps? We got to get more out of our Sega Whiteside and not just talk about him as a red zone player. He's got to be more productive. But I think when I look at the offense and where it's going to be, built from the inside out, I think clearly when you look at Zach Ertz, that's where it's really going to start. It starts with him and Dallas Goedert. Those two guys, Goddard obviously a good run blocker, very good receiver, but from the inside out, I think the control the hash game in the passing game with those two guys, then you open up everything on the outside with the speed guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then, when we look at them defensively, we love their front. You love having Slay. Linebackers they're going to be, in this day and age, nobody's, everybody's in nickel and dime anyway. But still, you need to be sturdy against the run. You get that one stretch coming up where you got San Fran, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh, 3 tough teams. So you're hoping that you could, be okay against the run, and that D-line is really one that can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, well, I said it to start off. I said when you look at how he's built this football team, he believes in those guys down in the trenches, and I agree with that approach to it. Fletcher Cox still one of the most dominant players in the NFL. Vinny Curry comes back. He's going to help out. Malik Jackson will be healthy. Here was a guy that was a Super Bowl MVP, in my opinion, a few years ago. That kind of talent, Von Miller gets the MVP when Denver wins it, but it was Malik Jackson who played phenomenal football out in Denver. If he's healthy, this offensive line, you know what you're going to get out of Graham. The guy is an absolute beast, play after play after play. Hargrave's a tremendous pickup from Pittsburgh. So I think the defensive line is really, going to be the heartbeat of that defense. Linebacker play, it's got to get better. It hasn't been bad, but there's not a take charge linebacker on this roster right now. We'll see how this plays out. Again, without seeing preseason games, practices, how are some of these guys going to work out? How's the TJ Edwards going to work out? You just don't know. I actually like what beside the loss of Malcolm Jenkins in the secondary, I think it's a pretty good group right now. Darius Slay is a guy that can follow. In other words, he can take the best receiver on a team and, just trail him wherever he goes and line up left, line up right, line up in the slot. He has, that kind of talent. Jalen Mills going to move inside, so we won't see a lot of double moves on the outside going for big plays. I think Avonte Maddox is a very solid player, but I can't underestimate the loss of Malcolm Jenkins. I think in Schwartz's defense, he was the catalyst for a lot of good things they did because he could play the box as a defender. He could play the pass. He always got this defense into the right calls. He was a smart player, and that cannot be mistaken when you lose a Malcolm Jenkins. So, we're going to see if one of these guys can step up. Again, that's what we'll start on Sunday, how these changes the Eagles have made, how these guys react, in a real game. We don't know.
Yeah, what impact, Joe? We're talking to the great Ron Jaworski. Don't forget the Ron Jaworski Show back right here on 97.5 The Fanatic at 6 o'clock. We love the Jaws Show every year.
Hey, Anthony, how about my guests tonight are going to be Brian Baldinger and Sal Pal. I got first-round draft choices coming out of the box, man. So I'm going to test these guys early and often.
Oh, my God. I might have to come in.
Paul Bunker down there at NFL Film said he's studying, and Sal's stirring the pot like he always does.
Yeah.
So hey, we're going to come out. We're coming out. We're coming out throwing bombs tonight at 6
It's
o'clock.
the greatest. By the way, man, we need a meat locker. Are you kidding me?
That's right.
I love it.
I still get text messages on the meat locker, man. Bring it back.
Yeah, I remember there was a meat locker. In the messages, I get the Baldy text, and he's ready to go. He's so locked in. The pandemic, no pandemic. He's locked in, man. Forget about it. It's gonna be awesome tonight. So, what impact does this weird year, where there's been limited practice time, the OTAs, the whole stuff, have with a first-year coach? Listen, we love Ron, and Ron real well, Ron Rivera.
Yep.
Coming to a new place with new talent, new players in this environment. How difficult is it going to be for the first-year coaches?
It's going to be very difficult, and that's where I give the Eagles a significant advantage in the NFC East. When you look at this coaching staff, it's been together. The players understand the system, both offensively and defensively. Yeah, there's always some tweaks and changes in the coaching staff. That's just part of the normal attrition of the NFL. But this is a very good coaching staff. The players understand the systems on offense, defense, and Dave Phipps special teams. So the Eagles have an advantage. When you look at Joe Judge up in New York, new system. You look at Ron Rivera down in Washington, new system, new players. You look at even the Dallas Cowboys, although they're loaded with talent, I'll give them that. Mike McCarthy is a proven coach, but here's where the pandemic comes into play. Even thinking back to the draft, and it kind of ticks me off that C.D. Lamb is in Dallas, but he was my favorite. He was my favorite receiver coming into this draft, and I was hoping the Eagles might move up ahead of Dallas and get him, but it didn't come to fruition. But anyway, no off season, and I've spoken to coaches this week about these Zoom meetings, all this stuff. And there were some good things that happened, but for the most part, it was ineffective. So you got all these teams that had no off season, no training camp or minimal training camp, no preseason games, no scrimmage, little small contact, and all of a sudden Sunday you got to go on the field and start playing football. You don't even know your players because you don't know your players till you put them in games, especially young players.
Right.
A lot of guys look great, Anthony, in shorts and t-shirts, man. And against there, man, woo-hoo, he can fly, he can run, he can catch. The minute someone hits him in the mouth, the guy doesn't want to run a route anymore.
Yeah.
We don't know any of that. We don't know how these guys are going to react. So, that's why I say the Eagles have an advantage in the East. It's a veteran team with veteran coaching against three new coaches with a lot of turnover on their teams.
What do you think the overall product is going to be? Listen, I think it'll look decent, but to get back to not hitting as much, I was talking to a couple of coaches, and they were bemoaning the fact that they don't know how those calluses, that's going to build. I
think you're going to see bad football. Normally, even coming out of a normal preseason,
right?
Veteran players haven't been playing much. That's been dwindling. Now you've had nothing. So I think the caliber of play is not going to be good. And I think it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks before we see NFL caliber, consistent football. And then you take teams like say the Patriots. 8 players opt out. 8 players, significant players on their roster, are no longer on their roster due to the coronavirus. We can't even get into what may happen if there's an outbreak and a hot spot and all the other stuff. If you wake up Sunday morning and Carson Wentz and Nate Sudfeld, they can't play. Oh, who's your quarterback? Hey, get Josh McCown from Texas back up here. That's the unknown. That there are contingency plans in place. But my goodness, to think of what could happen. But by the way, Anthony, I think Roger Goodell and the NFL have really done a tremendous job with the testing. And I give a lot of credit to the players because they haven't been bubbled, and there's been very few outbreaks. The last number I heard was 58,000 players, coaches, administrators, everyone involved with the NFL tested, and only 4 positive tests, and no one hospitalized. So, to me, the NFL, Roger Goodell. There are times you can be critical of everything they do, but it appears right now at this time, the players have been great, the testing's been great, and if you would ask me a month ago about the NFL playing, I would have said 50-50, maybe 60-40 not playing.
Yeah.
So I give all the teams, and particularly the players and coaches, a lot of credit because it's hard, man. It's hard to stay disciplined, and they did.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Jaws, it's here, and I just can't wait to tune in tonight to hear you and Baldy and Sal Pal. That's an HOF crew right there. So
hey, and we don't mess around, man.
That's it, man. That's the greatest.
Hey, we're going to be outdoors, which is kind of cool. People that love to come to the show. We're not going to be inside.
I love it. Yes,
we got big space outside. People come start thinking some football. Have a little fun.
Perfect night for it. Yeah.
Outdoor dining. Cold Miller Lite, my favorite. My favorite beer of choice. So a lot of people. We have a good time and kind of get your mind off.
I love Ramblewood too, man.
Yeah,
I love all your courses, but I love it. It feels very homey. I love it.
It is. It's a neighborhood place, The Mount Laurel, the people of the neighborhood, they support the club very well. They're there every time we have the radio show at Ramblewood. They're there. They love it, especially with the show tonight with Baldy and Sal. They're a fired up crowd.
That's awesome, brother. We love you, man. You're the Pope. You know that.
All right. Whenever you need me, give me a shout.
Will do, pal. Will do. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Love you,
man.
brother.
Take care.
There he is.
Anthony Gargano, weekdays from 10 to 2